Hello, this is Trent Sokol, and this is my computer science final project presentation. So, why don't we just get right into this? So, my presentation is a RPG, otherwise known as a role-playing game. And role-playing games were actually one of the first popular computer games. Since RPGs are mostly based on a story, since you're playing through a you're role playing through a fictional character in a fictional world. You don't necessarily need good graphics, although it does help for a more enjoyable experience. But you can have a very good gameplay experience without any graphics at all. So my game is an RPG, which is like a choose your own adventure game, where you're given different options and essentially all it is you get to explore a mystical magical castle. So, just going over a bit of the creation process. So, my app is essentially one big loop with a lot of if else statements. I used if else statements to allow the player to choose where they would like to explore and other decisions they would like to make. So, essentially, if the player chooses this, send them to this room and prompt the scenarios. That's essentially how I made my game work. So I actually had a lot of trouble figuring out how to send players to different rooms. When I was creating my game, I had a lot of issues. I was having a lot of the times people would go either to the rooms, a room that I would not intend them to be in, or I would just get an error. I would ask, "Where would you like to go?" I would type in the prompt. I would like type in where I would like to go into the module, and I would just get an error statement. And I wasn't really sure exactly why that was happening, but after a lot of troubleshooting and a lot of trial and error, I eventually got a code that worked very well for me. So I actually had an incredible time writing the different scenarios. I've been playing a lot of video games throughout my whole life. It was actually a good way for me and my stepdad to bond when I was a little kid. When I was We've been playing games together since I was five years old. So it was really really cool to be on the other end of the creation process. Obviously, I'm not making a blockbuster game like World of Warcraft, but it was really cool to be able to be creating something that I've been so passionate about for my whole life. So one last thing about the app is I added a element of randomness. So there is a chance of dying at certain points, and I made the chance of dying low because I felt it would be pretty frustrating if you're just trying to explore this world and you just all of a sudden die. But I did make it possible, mostly mostly to give players a reason to have multiple plays. Also, it is a pretty rare occurrence, so it is kind of exciting when you see it happen. And yeah, I just believe this element is really cool because it adds an element of risk, and it makes you think a little bit more about the choice you make. You want to think a little bit harder instead of just thinking, oh, well, I'll just go explore here. I'll just go explore that. So why don't we go explore the castle really quickly? I'll just read aloud for the through the experience. So, hello, young traveler. You find yourself in what appears to be an abandoned castle. You should look around. Would you like to explore the closet or enter through a doorway to the hall? Typing the word in the quotations will move you along your adventure. Which would you like to choose? So, why don't we go ahead and choose the closet? Let's see, maybe we can pick up a weapon. Maybe we can meet someone. Who knows? So, you find a sleeping lion in the closet. You better get out of there. You have no other options but to turn back, or you will wake up the lion. So, let's go back. So, we're in the original room that we started off in. So, we already tried looking into the closet. We know what's there. So, let's check out the hall. Wow, this hall is incredible. Here you meet another adventurer. He offers you a tasty meal. Would you like to sit down and socialize over some delicious food, or explore more of the castle? Well, I think it'd be kind of rude to decline his offer, so why don't we have a meal? Hello there, young adventurer. I am Podrick. Let us chat over a meal. He hands you a bowl of soup. He then says he would love to bestow on you some mystical powers. Would you like to learn a spell? Um, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to trick us. Maybe this is where, the chance of dying could be high. So let's say no. Wow, you declined a free lesson? I'm sending you back in time. Next time be ready to learn some saucy spells. And so as you can see, we've returned back to where we were before. So let's accept his meal again, but this time let's accept his offer for a spell because we don't want to be sent back in time again. A very wise choice. I sense you have a strong sense of adventure. You are now forced to go to the wizard's room to learn a spell. Will you continue your journey now that you have met this interesting character, or would you rather exit the castle? After all, magic can be pretty dangerous. So, I think it's a good idea to continue. Oh, and I've actually spelled continue wrong. So, we have hit continue, and we are welcomed into the spell room. It's truly a magical place. Brooms are flying around, there are books everywhere, and not to mention, there are all sorts of beautiful spells lighting up the room. Podrick teaches you how to cast a simple fire spell. Time to go light some cigarettes for all your buddies. Podrick thanks you for your company. He says he has not had a visitor in a long time. Would you like to go back to the start of your adventure and check out any rooms you did not get a chance to explore, or go home? After all, you have some cool new powers to show people. So, going back to the start would just bring you all the way back to the beginning, all the way back up here, and you would have all the same choices. You could. There were some scenarios that we didn't choose to go down this time, so let's just go home for now. You leave the castle with a big smile on your face. As you leave, you call out, "Hopefully we'll meet again, Podrick." Podrick smiles and goes to his room, and mutters to himself, "You've gone soft, Pod, letting an outsider like them leave the castle. You have left the magic castle. Congrats on being the first one to make it out alive."